Oh, so today I want to get my nails done. So I actually bought these Xcode tips from Amazon. So I want to try something new today. I know going to the nail salon is good and it's kind of fancy, but I just wanted to do something different for myself today. So I decided to try out getting the nails done by myself. And if I succeed to do them right today, that means I have saved up about $70. So yeah, to me, I think that's a lot of money to be giving out there. So I'm just going to focus on getting my nails done today by myself. So come with me and let's get those nails done. Come with me and let's get those nails done. And another thing is, during this episode of me getting my nails done, I want to have a conversation with you all. I just want to talk about grief because I know that grief is something that some people have experienced, and there are other people who haven't experienced grief yet. But to me, I think everybody has experienced some form of grief. And the grief, again, is not just by you losing somebody. Grief can be experienced in so many ways. You can experience grief through broken friendships. You can experience grief through having a miscarriage or a broken marriage or loss of something. So grief, we experience grief every day, but in this video, while I'm getting my nails done or figuring out how to get this thing on my fingers, I will just be talking about how I experienced it and how well I'm navigating through this period of grief. And yeah, maybe just somehow somebody out there is going to learn one or two things from me, or just have a little bit of empathy for anybody you know that is experiencing some form of grief. So this video will just be a lot. But again, hang in there and let's get it rolling. All right, so let's get this ball rolling. So I got these nails from Amazon. It's the Xcode tips. It comes in 5 different sets. I didn't know this is how much these nails were in here. I think you can use this so many times. This is already part of the first set that I took out. So this is the first set here. So if I've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 pieces, I can use this a couple of times again. I have another, I can use this one more time. So it means I can wear these nails like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different times. So it's worth the price. I got this for about $21. I have Amazon Prime, so it was free shipping. So Xcode tips, this is what I got. And also, I already went ahead and um, measured my nails to make sure that they fit correctly. I've never had nails this long, so I really wonder how it's going to look like. But again, I'm trying out something new, so hopefully it turns out well. And while I was looking at tutorials on YouTube, I found this, which is the Builder Gel. And they say you need to use the LED lamp. I don't have it, so I'm just gonna do it like that and wait for it to cure um, outside the sun. So um, again, this is my first time. Let's see how it looks like at the end. Okay, guys, so my video today will be focused on just talking about grief, how I experienced it, and how I still experience it up to now. And like I said in my introduction, grief is not just you losing somebody to death. Grief can be in so many ways. You can experience grief in so many ways. Sickness can cause you grief. Disappointments, daily disappointments can cause you grief. So grief is a very, and again, it's a topic people don't really talk so much about. So let's just get it going. All right, so for now, they say this is the gel glue, and this one is the builder gel, and this one is a coat tips. So yeah, I lost my dad in 2022. Okay, let me tell you the story of how I got the news that my dad had died. So on that fateful day, I was sleeping, and my mom called me and she was like, wherever you are, I need you to go on your knees and start praying. Mind you, 2 days before, I had actually just spoken with my dad on the phone. We had a phone call, we talked as usual, we laughed, and we just had a good time on the phone call. But he did mention to me I know he was supposed to go to the hospital for a checkup, but on the day we were talking, he never said anything like he was in this dire pain or was going through this thing that could cause death. So, yeah, it was just a regular phone call and a phone call a dad would have with a daughter. So, yeah, on that day, my mom called me it was 2 a.m. I'll never forget, it was about 2 a.m. So, after listening to my mom, yeah, the call ended and I tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't because I was very, very worried because all of a sudden, after speaking, like it was just 2 days before I spoke to my dad. And now, when my mom called me, my mom was like, he's in the hospital and he was in a coma. So that didn't really make sense to me because I just spoke to him 2 days before. And on that day, like he was in a coma. It right up to today, I'm still trying to find answers. I'm still trying to find out what really happened that night. It's just a lot of thoughts, but I'll find a way to put it as much as possible into words. So yeah, he was taken to the hospital and he went into a coma. And the next thing I could hear, this happened within 24 hours. My dad was in the hospital for 2 days and he passed. He died. At this point, speaking about it and I'm no longer shedding tears, it's really mind blowing because for the past 2 years, I've struggled with just talking about it and not crying. But if it's talking about it because I have to talk about it, I've done it so much to myself, talking to myself, and I've spoken so much to my family. And my family is my very close family. That's my mom, my brother, my sister. So I've talked about it a lot with them. And at this point, I'm unable to cry anymore because I've started coming to the understanding that I'll never see my dad again. But the other part of it is the profound pain that I feel inside my heart. Is that pain and sadness and that empty space that I know nothing can ever fill it. But every day I try to find something that will remind me of him. I try to base myself on the thoughts about him that will make me feel happy. But sometimes that overwhelming feeling of sadness cannot just go away. So basically, grief is very difficult. Grief doesn't go away. Yeah, someone once made a comment to me and said, why am I acting like I'm the only person who has lost their dad? Why am I crying so much? I looked at them and I said, it's okay. Maybe my pain, you don't have any empathy to understand what I'm going through. But I hope you never experience what I'm experiencing because it's a tough one. And I told that person that you would experience it someday. And on that day, you're going to think about me. You think about the pain. You think about me just talking about it. And you think about you making that comment to me because that is one of the most insensitive comments that I heard throughout this period, even till today. I've heard so many, but that is one of the comments that really stood out to me. So dealing with grief for me has been very, very difficult. And like I said, grief comes in so many ways. It doesn't come and go. It's a feeling that stays with you forever, and it's a feeling that you just need to find a way to navigate it day by day. It could catch you when you're eating, it could grab you when you're laying in bed trying to sleep. You could just be watching a movie and you see something, it reminds you of that person, and it starts all over. So it's just, I'll describe grief to be like a stone that you're carrying. It doesn't get lighter, but as you get older, as time passes by, you definitely find a way to be able to carry the stone without feeling the weight of it. It becomes part of you. It becomes a daily thing. It becomes your everyday lifestyle that, oh yeah, I lost this person and the person is no more. The person is no longer coming back to me. And what do you have to do? You just have to live with it. That is what grief is to me, because my own grief, my biggest grief or my biggest pain is coming from the fact that I lost my dad. I've lost people before, but they were not, I will not say they were close to me, but losing my dad has been the biggest blow because rather as an adult, there are so many things I would have loved to talk about my dad, my personal life. There are so many things I want to call him and ask him that what can I do in this situation? This is how I feel. This is what I'm going through. But he's not there. His phone number, I can just look at it, but I'll never see that number call me again. It's all I want to say is that if you ever meet someone who is experiencing any form of grief, sometimes we don't even know what to tell them because the pain and the sadness is just so overwhelming. But I will say one thing, that if you ever meet somebody who has lost a parent, a child, a husband, a spouse, or whoever, the least you can do for them is to exercise a certain level of grace. You should have a certain level of empathy for them because trust me, they do not want to be in the position in which they are in right now. The pain they are feeling is not the kind of pain that they would have sat someday and said, oh, I want to wake up tomorrow and I feel this level of sadness. Not at all. There is nobody in this world have want who want to experience something like that. So again, so my nails were already prepped. I used where is it? I used this little thing to be able to push my cuticles, and I also used my file. Where is the file? Things are just all over the place right here. I use my file to like roughen up my nails a little bit. So that's why I'm already getting into the gluing part and I'm trying to put down the glue. Again, this is my first time of doing this. So I'll definitely try to find a better tutorial and watch so that I can do this thing properly next time. So yeah, yeah, and speaking about grief when it comes to friends, I'm not someone who had so many friends, but the few people that I know, some of them never stood by me. Like, I have this person who literally made statements like, when I came back from burying my dad, the person was like, oh, she came back from burying her dad and she's just behaving funny. That really hurt me because I don't know what that person expected from me. But again, to say that about somebody who has just lost a parent, to me, again, that was very, very insensitive. So, yeah, during that period, I lost quite a few people. And again, it was a conscious decision on my part that I wouldn't want to be around somebody who doesn't have enough empathy for me when I really need that, or I need that concern, or I need that care. I don't want to be around you. And even if I still have to maintain a certain level of friendship or relationship with you, it would be at an arm's length. The relationship would have its do's and its don'ts. So again, this just goes back to my point of people trying to be sensitive to others when they, especially when it comes to grief. Trust me, I know that grief is not only when you lose a parent or whatever. People experience grief in so many ways. If I have someone around me and I know maybe you're going through a loss of a friendship, a loss of a husband, or a loss of any other important person in your life, the least I can do is to be there for you. I might not know how well I can support you because sometimes words cannot really help those people, like me. Sometimes words couldn't really help. All I needed was maybe a phone call or a text just to check on me, how I'm doing, and that would be it. And I'll be so happy. But again, and it is in moments like that that you get to know who is for you and who is not for you. And also, don't take it to heart. If you've met a few people that are unable to understand what grief is and they're unable to be there for them the way you expect them to be there for you. So sometimes even you as a person who is experiencing the grief, you need to give yourself some grace, or you need to extend grace to those people because they may not just know. Something most often from my experience, I think some of them do not know that this is what they can do. So they just act the way they act. But again, that is no excuse. I just feel like some things are just common sense. Some things are just basic knowledge for anybody, even a kid. I don't think if a kid should see the mother crying, the kid will be like, "Oh, mommy, why are you crying?" Like the kid would definitely pause a little bit and watch the mom or just sit right there. To me, some things are just common sense, basic common sense. So I think they're coming out nice. Can you see that? I think the nails are coming out nice. Yeah, so I just thought I should come out here today and ramble about what I think about grief and how people should develop a level or a sense of empathy towards other people. So if you have somebody besides you who has lost a parent or who is going through some form of, I don't know, is grief is a very strong feeling or strong emotion that somebody can go through. And again, some people will go through this thing called grief for a lifetime. Some people will be able to recover from it for in a very short time. But trust me, if you talk to people who have experienced grief, even after 20 years, one thing has been common with everyone that I've spoken to, or anyone who has cared to share their experience with me. They tell you it always feels like it happened just yesterday. And that is something that I really resonate with because many a times when I'm unable to sleep at night, I realize that the only thought that comes to my head is I start thinking about my dad and I keep asking myself, why? Why did it happen? Why me? Why did it have to happen to him? Again, I'll say God knows best. God knows why he did what he did. God knows why he was taken away at the time that he was taken away from us. Because I feel like my dad left this world prematurely, and if only I could turn the hands of time. If only I could turn the hands of time. I don't feel this bad because at this point in my life, I'm thinking that there's something I should have done more that I did not do. I can say I'm very proud to say everything I wanted to do, I did then. Everything I'd wished to do, I had done it. I was just wishing to do more. I was just wishing to do some extra things. I was just wishing to have him here with me in the US. I was just wishing, those are the things, but every other thing I did. Share the happy times, we share the tough times, we every other thing I did. So I'm not worried about that. It's just the pain, it's just the emptiness, it's just the part that you miss your dad, you miss your person, you miss that person. And trust me, if you have your dad, your mom, you should be grateful because I feel like as human beings, when we are born, we need our parents, we grow up, when we reach a certain age, we don't need them so much. But when you're getting older, when you're in your 30s, I think it just gets to a point where no matter how mature you are, no matter if you're married or not married, you have kids or you don't have kids, you realize that you just need your parents much more. Even if your parents are not the ones paying your rent, even if they don't pay your fee, even if they don't do some basic things that they used to do for you before, you just need them. You just need them to call you. You just need to call them and talk, because they become like your first friend. They become like your go-to person in every aspect of life. And that's my biggest cry. I have my mom. I talk to her every day. Even if it's 5 minutes, I talk to my mother every day. But I just wish my dad was here. I just wish I could be able to share a drink, share a meal. I just wish I could be able to. I think that is it about this talk for today. I'm not sure I can go on talking about it. I'll just focus on getting this side of my hands done. I've done this once, so I'm just gonna bring the camera closer, get this one's done, and yeah, move on from there. So I'll be right back. This side is kind of difficult for me to do it because I'm not left-handed, so it'll take a while to spread. Mm. Hmm. Hope I'll be able to use these nails. They're quite long. There you go. I don't want gaps to be inside, so got to be careful the way I'm doing it. Too sharp. So look at my nails. I did it. Oh, how you do it.